Wow! I certainly wasn't expecting a response like this. Thank you all so much for your support on the Galaxy Coin video. I definitely needed a break after working on that video for so long, but given how interesting of a topic it was to track down every coin in Super Mario Galaxy, it naturally begs the question of how that concept would play out in other 3D Mario games. I've already addressed why I likely won't do a Super Mario Galaxy 2 Max Coin video, check the description for a link to it, but Super Mario Sunshine? It's got the same coin collecting high score mechanic that Super Mario Galaxy has, and it has its own story to tell in the pursuit of every possible coin. This is Super Mario Sunshine's Max Coin Challenge.
Super Mario Sunshine!
Super Mario Sunshine doesn't keep track of coin records on a per mission basis like Super Mario Galaxy does, and instead only has a record for each of the 8 core stages in the game. Delfino Plaza, Bianco Hills, Ricco Harbor, Gelato Beach, Pinna Park, Sirena Beach, Noki Bay, and Pianta Village. There aren't any standard coins in Corona Mountain, so it isn't going to be a part of this video. Since there are only 8 stages to get max coins in, instead of covering each stage in the same order you encounter them in gameplay like I did for the Galaxy Coin video, I'll instead go through the stages from easiest to hardest. For each stage, the max coin count will be shown in the top right and the difficulty rating will be in the bottom left. This time around, since some stages have ways of getting the max amount of 999 coins in them, I'll also have a tedium meter in the bottom left to depict how obnoxious it is to get all those coins. For both meters, lower numbers depict less intensity. Now that we have the groundwork set before us, let's get started scouring Isle Delfino for every last coin possible. Hey everyone, make sure to subscribe. Now enjoy the video. Fittingly, we'll be starting our coin hunt in the hub area of the game, Delfino Plaza. The plaza features a very well-known coin exploit that makes getting 999 coins very easy. After you'll witness the flooding of the plaza upon finishing the 7th mission in every stage, this Pianta appears and will ferry you back to the Delfino airstrip if you pay him 10 coins. There are a ton of coins at the airstrip, but not enough to get 999. To go back to Delfino Plaza without losing your coins, you must first get the 8 red coins before time runs out and then grab the shine sprite, but this is a pretty simple task. Once you go back to the plaza though, your coins don't get reset like normal, they stay collected. This means that you can just cycle between Delfino Plaza and Delfino Airstrip as many times as you want until you get max coins. Once you do, grab any shine sprite in the plaza to record your score. Easy! Up next is everyone's favorite amusement park, Pinna Park. This stage also features a very well-known coin exploit, and is likely what most players do to collect the 100 coin shine here. In episode 2, the beach cannon secret, a Monty Mole sits on top of the beach cannon and endlessly fires bullet bills at you until he's defeated. Lucky for us, spraying the bullet bills with water causes him to drop coins. 2 for the standard black bills and the homing purple ones, and 8 for the rarer gold ones. Since these bullet bills get fired pretty regularly, it doesn't take that long at all to get max coins here either. Man, and we're already done with 2 of the 8 stages in this game. This is gonna be a cinch! Yeah, maybe not. Pianta Village is our next stop. This stage naturally has one of the fewest coin totals of any of the stages in this game. Yet, we are somehow able to get 999 coins here? You know how I said this stage naturally doesn't have that many coins? That was intentional. We can't get the 999 coins by finding them in the level this time. In what might be the greatest plot twist of the entire game, Mario becomes a con man. Yup, we're gonna rob one of these Piantas blind for those 999 coins. Specifically, in Episode 6, Piantas in Need, 10 of the Pianta villagers get trapped beneath the graffiti goop. The goal is to save each of the Piantas before time runs out. That part is easy. If you talk to the Piantas after saving them, then most of them will give you a blue coin, and some will give a 1-up mushroom. Interestingly though, if that same Pianta were to get submerged in the goop again and saved yet again, they'll give Mario a different reward. A 1-up mushroom specifically, assuming they've given you a blue coin the first time. If the Pianta gets submerged and saved again, then they'll give you a coin. Yup, a single coin. And this is what happens every single time you repeatedly save the Pianta from this point forwards. The only question now is how to get the Pianta to resubmerge into the goop, and this is where Mario the Con Man enters the scene along with his partners in crime, the Goobles. Yup, these little goop creature things. When a Gooble jumps at Mario and hits the ground, it splats into a goop puddle. To get that goop puddle to be beneath our hapless Pianta victim, position Mario just in front of the Pianta, but just before the Gooble jumps at Mario, jump yourself and then out of the way. This causes the Gooble's jump to land right beneath the Pianta, which initiates the coin cycle. Have fun doing this 998 more times! With this infinite money exploit, we're rich! Rich! Nothing can stop us now! Wait, officer, I can explain. I can explain?
Court is now in session.
Despite being on probation for the damages to our beautiful island, the defendant has, once again, been up to no good and is now being charged with 999 instances of endangerment and robbery of an innocent, well-respected elderly Pianta.
That's not...
Though masquerading as a hero of justice, Mario has taken the hard-earned money of one of our fellow residents, and for what? Greed? A warped sense of accomplishment? Any possible clout gained from performing a YouTube challenge video?
You've got to be kidding me, I'm not...
Whatever the reason, there is clearly no sense of justice present within Mr. Mario here. I rest my case.
I've heard all I need to hear. I find the defendant guilty of all charges. I sentence him to 20 hours of community service at Ricco Harbor starting tomorrow, and a 149 coin fine.
Court adjourned.
Well, this sucks. No more max coin exploits for us. Looks like we're gonna have to get rich the hard way. The best mission for collecting coins here is the first one, Gooper Blooper Breaks Out. There's only two noteworthy things here. The first is that the game sneakily uses two versions of Ricco Harbor in this first mission. One version before you free Gooper Blooper, and another after the boss fight begins. There are actually some coins that are unique to each of these versions of Ricco Harbor, so just make sure to collect every coin in the harbor before freeing Gooper Blooper. However, getting all these coins is a tad bit tricky for one reason in particular. See this tower of coins above Ricco Tower? You're normally supposed to get the rocket nozzle to blast up to the top and collect those coins. But since we're currently in episode 1, the rocket nozzle box isn't present. Using the hover nozzle only gets us so high, so we need a way to get a bit more height to collect every coin. There are two known ways to do this though. The first is through the use of glitchy wall kicks. Average Trade does a great job of explaining how to perform this technique in a separate video that I'll have linked in the description. It even shows that top coin being collected. I can't seem to get the Mario Cam to cancel nearly as quickly as is necessary to do the trick. Maybe it's because I'm bad at video games, or maybe it's because I'm playing on the 3D All-Stars version of Sunshine. Regardless, there's actually another method to get this coin. Go to the highest trampoline platform at the top of the stage. The goal is to get a lot of horizontal speed so that we can reach the coin that way, since we're already at a sufficient height. Position Mario to the back left of the trampoline, hover backwards a bit, then go back to the platform and dive so that Mario begins belly sliding. Just before reaching the end of the trampoline, move Mario over so that he bounces on the trampoline at as fast of a speed as possible. At the peak of the bounce, do a small spin on the control stick so that Mario begins spinning as this slows his fall speed. Then begin hovering a bit more than 1 second. If you got enough speed and start hovering at the correct time, then one final dive forward should be just enough to get that highest coin. A ground pound afterwards can of course collect the remaining coins. After that maneuver, simply get the remaining coins in the stage before freeing Gooper Blooper, then get the newly appeared coins in the second version of Ricco Harbor. And with that, we're done with our community service. We can now move on to the next stage. You know, despite that community service we just finished with, I still want to break the bank with a 999 coin mission. Maybe we could do that legally in a casino. Might as well give luck a try. Huh. This isn't working as good as I'd hoped. Maybe we'll have better luck on the roulette wheel? Oh, it's the house! Maybe we can just be better gamblers than the house themselves! Score! Oh yeah, we're so back. Time to ring this casino for every coin they got! Oh, okay, maybe this won't be as easy as I was thinking. Ultimately, the King Boo boss fight does have the potential to give you infinite coins, but getting coins to show up on the slots is actually one of the most rarest outcomes. Instead, the enemy spawns appear much more often, and many of those enemies can still drop coins when defeated, so that becomes our main source of coins for the fight. That doesn't stop the wait between the slot prizes from being this long, however. A somewhat funny note is that around the time that the 800 coins have been collected, the coins become invisible upon spawning in. They can still be collected just like normal though. I guess it's because King Boo is tired of us robbing him blind and wants us gone. Fair enough, I suppose. With those coins legally obtained, I'm feeling much better about myself this time. Let's try to complete the rest of the remaining stage without max coin tricks then. Those tend to be a lot more interesting from an explanation standpoint. Our next stop is Gelato Beach, and it has the most coins possible in the Watermelon Festival. First up, we have these watermelons. If they explode, then they drop a single coin, and this can be done 10 times for each watermelon. This isn't gonna get old. Even worse, when 2 watermelons that aren't the correct size are delivered to the watermelon shack, the owner rejects the watermelon from the contest but gives you a 10 coin reward, and he has absolutely no decency whatsoever and just randomly chucks the coins all over the place. Maybe he used to be a chuckster. These coins are on a pretty strict time limit to collect, so it's pretty easy for them to be lost, which is even more annoying since you have to make the watermelons explode 10 times first before even delivering the stupid thing. This is absolutely the part you want to do first so that it's out of the way, but there are 2 more noteworthy things about this stage. The first is that Yoshi isn't present in this mission, but the orange goop thing is still here, and it is blocking access to the 6 coins below the sand. Without Yoshi though, we can't get rid of this goop, so the only thing we can do is try to clip into the area with those coins. Luckily, Super Mario Sunshine has quite a few glitches in it, and we can make use of one of the most famous ones here. Rocket storage. Once you have a rocket nozzle, position Mario near a ledge. With the squirt nozzle active, go into sidestep mode by pressing and holding L in the GameCube version or ZL in the 3D All-Stars version. Then switch to the rocket nozzle. Charge up a rocket by lightly pressing R in the GameCube version or use ZR in the 3D All-Stars version. Just as the charge meter reaches this part of the water tank, release L or ZL. If done correctly, Mario won't do anything. He'll just stand in place. If you swap back to the squirt nozzle, you can repeat this process again for as many times as you like until you run out of water. If you have the squirt nozzle active and sidestep off the sledge, then all your rocket launches will get used up and you'll fly into the air. For our purposes, we only need 2 or 3 rocket storages, as we just need to get out of bounds. After the launch, move Mario away from the stage so that he lands out of bounds in this weird blue void area. If Mario stands on the ground for too long here, then the game considers him to be dead and he'll have to start over. So you'll basically need to practice this part before doing all the watermelon shenanigans. While jumping constantly, make your way below the 6 coins and the goop. Using a single rocket nozzle boost will actually give you enough height to go back in bounds, so right as you reach the coin, perform a ground pound to cancel your vertical speed. This launch and ground pound strategy can be used to collect all 6 of these coins, and once done, a final rocket launch will get Mario back in bounds. Make sure you don't get so caught up in coin collecting that you completely run out of water though, because there's no water down here, and if you run out, you're as good as dead. Additionally, if Mario collides with the orange group from below, he'll get knocked back down and linger on the blue void for long enough for the game to trigger the death plane, so watch out for that too. Lastly, There's a particularly odd quirk about this cash register. When you jump below the cabana into the cash register, then a set of 8 coins pops out. There would normally be no reason to mention this besides the fact that it's an obscure way of collecting coins in this game, but there's something strange happening with the cash register in the 3D All-Stars version. For some reason, one of the 8 coins that is supposed to appear does spawn in at first, but it despawns far too quickly for Mario to get back into the cabana and collect it. I honestly don't know why this happens or if there's a way to prevent it, so if you know anything regarding this coin, please let me know in the comments. This unfortunately means that the 3D All-Stars version of Gelato Beach is missing out on 1 coin compared to the original, at least until someone discovers a way to circumvent this issue. Bianco Hills is, well, I guess the best phrase to use would be unreasonably irritating. There are quite a few coins in episode 8, the red coins of the lake, specifically from the myriad of enemies to defeat. Many of these enemies drop coins in an annoying manner, and while 1 or 2 instances of this happening would be manageable, it feels like nearly every coin in Bianco Hills has an issue you can run into. First up are these bells. If you ring the bells using the wooden wheel here, then the bells will drop 5 coins. Maybe. See, sometimes the coins spawn out of bounds because why not? Oh, and if you don't get these coins first, then the bells themselves bug out and they won't even drop their 5 coins. Yay! Then there are the coins from the enemies. The most egregious offender is this Pokey. If a Pokey is stomped on its head while it's standing upright, then it drops 3 coins. The problem is that these 3 coins despawn very quickly after they appear, and this platform is so small that only 2 of these coins land on it. The 3rd coin almost always falls off into the lake. The timer for these 3 coins is so small that you have to nap the 2 coins on the platform and then do a blind ground pound to reach the lake fast enough to collect the last coin. Mixing the ground pound isn't allowed, by the way. That timer is short. Many more enemies in this stage can give coins if they are eaten by Yoshi, such as the Pond Skaters, Gusties, and Bees. The Pond Skaters aren't difficult to defeat, but it's possible, and surprisingly likely, for them to die on their own if they end up moving onto land or a lily pad for too long. So these enemies need to be defeated ASAP. Having Yoshi eat the Gusties to get their coins is pretty easy, but the hard part is getting Yoshi to where he needs to be, as this entails some mildly precise jumps onto the windmills here. If you miss, then you have to backtrack all the way to the start of the level to see what fruit Yoshi wants, then run to the grove area to grab the fruit, bring it to Yoshi, and then ride Yoshi all the way back there just for 1 attempt at the jump. As for the bees, there are a lot of coins to be had from each eaten bee, but it's possible to get stun locked by the bees if you aren't careful, which could cause you to lose out on even a single coin. If you can get all of those coins, then the rest of the coins in the level are much simpler by comparison. There are a few coins in the hillside secret though, so after getting all 209 coins from the Bianco hillside, head to the hillside secret to nab the last few coins to get the episode 3 shine instead. Overall, though the individual parts of Bianco Hills may be somewhat difficult but manageable, it's the fact that all these factors come into play in one stage that makes this max coin challenge way more aggravating than necessary. We've arrived at Nate's personal favorite stage in the game, Noki Bay. Funnily enough though, the actual coin collection doesn't begin when we select the mission to play. Instead, Mario's previous crime spree continues, but not with conning, it's smuggling this time. Usually when you enter any stage from Delfino Plaza, Mario's coin counter is reset to 0. This coin reset happens instantaneously upon the playing of the stage entry animation. Mario is also usually inactionable during stage entry, except for when entering Noki Bay. Since all you do to enter Noki Bay is look at the sun, there is a small time frame in which Mario can still move before he enters the mission select screen. If any coins were collected in this time frame, then they would be essentially smuggled into the stage. And it turns out that 4 coins can be smuggled in this manner. The setup is, as you may have guessed, pretty difficult to pull off though. The 4 coins all appear from green birds in the nearby area, as they all have a flight path that travels right above the Noki Bay entrance. These birds only show up after the Delfino Plaza flooding incident though. When a green bird is sprayed with water 3 times, it drops a coin where it was killed? Man, Mario really is a criminal mastermind in this game. Anyway, If Mario can get these 4 birds to drop their coins in the same spot above the Noki Bay teleporter, then he can jump above these coins, do a ground pound, and then quickly use Mario Can to look up into the sun before he lands on the ground. If done correctly, Mario will pass by the trigger telling the game to reset the coin counter before landing on the ground, so any coins Mario collects will carry over into Noki Bay. Getting the 4 coins to all spawn in at roughly the same time is the hardest part of this trick. To start, each bird has to be sprayed twice before they can even reach the teleporter. This may seem daunting, but there's a trick we can use to help simplify this: spam spraying. By jumping and full pressing the R button on GameCube, or just using the R button on 3D All-Stars, Mario will do a small hop and shoot a shotgun spray of water in front of him. This can be done in rapid succession to spray the birds much more easily, but they can't be sprayed too much or else they'll drop their coin prematurely. After this preparatory step, zoom over to the teleporter, stand in one place, and then spray water towards the sky and don't change directions. If you aimed in the correct place, then all 4 birds will get hit by water in the exact same spot, pointing the 4 coins in the same area. If you miss hitting the birds entirely, or not every coin shows up, then you'll need to reset Delfino Plaza and try again. It takes a bit of practice to get all 4 coins, but luckily this is the hardest trick for this entire level, and it's right at the start. The rest of Noki Bay is simpler by comparison, though your nerves may be on edge after getting a successful attempt since there are some things to watch out for in the bay itself. The mission that contains the most coins is the Red Coin Fish, Episode 8. There are 127 coins in the bay and 104 coins in the deep sea area. So if you smuggle in the 4 coins from the plaza, that's 235 total. There are hardly any enemies in this stage, luckily, so the only real obstacles will be the coins themselves, whether it's fighting them or collecting them at all. The most notable coins are the ones at the top of this alcove region in the western region of the bay. There are a tower of coins just like in Ricco Harbor, and also just like in Ricco Harbor, there is no rocket nozzle in this mission. The coins are too far away from the highest point in the level to do a similar trick like we did previously though, so we need a new way to get extra height. Luckily though, this stage is the only one to feature the springs. They become portable when sprayed with water, so we can take one of these springs over to the tower of coins and use them there. The problem ends up being that transporting a spring to where we need it is decently complicated. First, grab a spring and take it over here. Perform a max height triple jump and wall jump onto this platform. The next jump is a bit tough, but failing it only wastes time rather than ruining the whole run. Position Mario here. Then do a spin jump by spinning the control stick once and jumping toward the very edge of this wall. If the angle and distance were correct, then you'll make it to the next ledge, and if not, you'll fall down into the water and have to get the respawn spring. Once at this ledge, place the spring you brought onto the ground and pick up the other one. This way, if you mess up a jump after this point, the spring that respawns will be the one that naturally appears on this ledge, so this acts as a sort of checkpoint. Grab the new spring, bounce on the first one, then wall jump toward the next platform and ground pound as soon as Mario is fully above it. The next platform can be easily spin jumped to directly, but the next one is the hardest to get to without hovering, so you'll need to perform a variant of the glitchy wall kick. Do a spin jump toward the next platform, and then the instant that Mario touches the wall, go into Mario Cam and then press jump a split second afterwards. If you're playing on 3D All-Stars, then pressing in on the right control stick to enter Mario Cam is very unreliable, so I highly encourage you to remap the right stick to some other button on the controller, such as the mostly unused L button. Practice this jump a few times before grabbing the spring and then doing it for real. Once you make it, the last platform can be reached with a well-placed spin jump. We're almost there. We now need to get the spring into that hole up there, but make sure you have Mario enter that alcove first to deactivate this absolute troll of a boxing glove. The developers definitely knew what they were doing. Do a small side flip and wall jump onto this alcove, then position Mario so that he is facing the bay and the tips of his shoes are just in front of the ledge. Drop the spring and hold down on the control stick so that Mario gets ejected from the alcove. Now grab the spring side, pull on up and do a small jump to land on the spring, then use the height you get, the hover nozzle, and a ground pound at the apex of the hover to collect all of the coins in this tower. Phew. That was a lot of work for those coins, but those are also the only troublesome coins in the bay itself. The rest of the coins can be found by exploring the stage's alcoves. You'll need to maneuver the mud boat in such a way to collect a few of the alcove coins that drop near the waterfall, as being on the water surface too close to the waterfall will trigger the loading zone for the ocean floor, so watch out for that. Once you get 131 coins, you're ready to enter the deep sea area. There are no enemies down here though, so your only obstacle will be a time limit due to the air meter as soon as you enter. So you'll need to be ready to collect coins as soon as possible. None of the coins are particularly hidden though, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get them all on your first go, but if you're apprehensive about missing some coins or running out of time, try mapping out the deep sea before doing an actual attempt. I would focus on getting all the coins in the red fish first, since those coins move around constantly. If you get every coin in this area though, then you can coast down to the bottom of the ocean to collect the shine sprite and complete the max coin challenge for Noki Bay with a hefty 235 coins. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. While there really wasn't much to talk about in Super Mario Sunshine as there was in Mario Galaxy, there was still plenty of nuance and glitches that makes the Max Coin Challenge an interesting topic of discussion. Let me know down in the comments if you tried the Max Coin Challenge in Super Mario Sunshine yourself and your experience with it. I'd love to read them. For anyone who's wondering what the max coin total was for Super Mario Sunshine, it's 4,753 coins, which is more than Mario Galaxy. Makes sense. The infinite coin tricks in Mario Sunshine really do add a lot to the coin total. With Super Mario Galaxy and now Super Mario Sunshine max coin videos complete, you'd naturally expect the same kind of video for the original Super Mario 64 as well. But I'm gonna be honest, there are plenty of videos that go into a much more thorough analysis in Super Mario 64's code to truly answer the question of how many coins can be collected in each world. So it's a bit intimidating considering how much of a legacy that game has, but if enough of you would be interested in that video, then I'll consider working on it. As for credits I'd like to give to this video, shoutouts go to Average Trey VG for making the glitchy wall kick tutorial, and to Nathaniel Smith, our resident coin collector, for penning the script, providing gameplay footage, and acting as quality assurance throughout this video's production. Oh boy, another max coin video done. I love working on these videos. The structure of them is just very well done. I love working on them. I can just work on it a bit at a time, and I can just get it done later. I decided that I wanted to challenge myself in this video. I figured in the 3D Land video, I didn't really do a lot with graphics or animations or anything like that. It kind of just felt like I was just going through the motions. In this video, I wanted to make more art and just do a lot more stuff with that. I felt like it would be a little bit better for me to just try and make the videos better than they were before. I always liked working on that. The new UI was actually something that was talked about in the Galaxy Coin video. In the comments, someone said, oh, the UI was taking up a lot of the screen, so we actually did do a lot to fix that. Nate, as always, is very helpful with helping with quality assurance and all that. It really does help me to have someone on the team and just help me stay on track. Anyway, I think that's it for today. See you all next time, and goodbye.
Super